Good day, grade 11. For week 1 of our discussion in personal development, we are going to talk about self-knowledge. So what are the topics that we are going to talk about this week? As you can see, we have 3. We have self-concept and its 2 aspects. Number 2, we have personal effectiveness and the 2 innate characteristics that it depends on. And number 3, skills needed to enhance your personal effectiveness. Let's start the discussion. Imagine yourself looking into a mirror. What do you see? Do you see your ideal self or your actual self? But first, let's discuss self-concept. Self-concept refers to your awareness of yourself. Self-concept is the image that we have of ourselves. How exactly does this self-image form and change over time? This image develops in a number of ways but is particularly influenced by our interactions with important people in our lives. Self-concept is how you perceive your behavior, your abilities, and your unique characteristics. For example, beliefs such as quote and unquote, I am a good friend, or quote and unquote, I am a kind person are part of an overall self-concept. Self-concept tends to be more malleable when you are younger and still going through the process of self-discovery and identity formation. As you age and learn who you are and what's important to you, these self-perceptions become much more detailed and organized. The actual self and the ideal self are two broad categories of self-concept. Your ideal self is the self that you aspire to be. It is one that you hope will possess characteristics similar to that of a mentor or some other worldly figure. The ideal self is how we want to be. It is an idealized image that we have developed over time based on what we have learned and experienced. The ideal self could include components of what our parents have taught us, what we admire in others, what our society promotes, and what we think is in our best interest. Actual self. Your actual self is the one that you actually see. It is the self that has characteristics that you were nurtured or in some case born to have. The actual self is who we actually are. It is how we think, how we feel, look, and act. The actual self can be seen by others, but because we have no way of truly knowing how others views us, the actual self is our self-image. The actual self is based on our self-knowledge. Self-knowledge is derived from social interactions that provide insight into how others react to you. Self-knowledge refers to information about subjective tendency such as our emotional state, personality traits, and behavioral patterns. So to summarize what we have talked about in the previous slides, we have self-concept. And self-concept is also known as self-awareness. It has two components. Number one is the ideal self, and number two is the actual self. Ideal self is the self you aspire to be. The actual self is how others see you, also known as your self-image. Your actual self is derived from your self-knowledge. So what is self-knowledge? Self-knowledge is the actual genuine information one possesses about oneself. So it includes various informations about our emotional state, personality traits, relationships, behavioral patterns, opinions, beliefs, values, needs, goals, preferences, and social identity. Self-knowledge results from self-reflective activities and social processes. So, anong pang kaibahan ng self-concept and self-knowledge? Self-concept is developed based on beliefs about self, and it has two components. Whereas, self-knowledge is derived from various sources of information, including external evidence. So, what is the importance of self-awareness or self-concept? As you know, your self-concept is not always perfectly aligned with reality. When it is aligned, your self-concept is said to be congruent. But when there is a mismatch between how you see yourself and who you wish you were, your self-concept is incongruent. This incongruence can negatively impact your self-esteem. So, is alignment important? Yes, alignment is important. If the way that I am, or the actual self, is aligned with the way I want to be, the ideal self, then I will feel a sense of mental well-being or peace of mind. If the way that I am is not aligned with how I want to be, the incongruence or lack of alignment will result in mental distress or anxiety. The greater the level of incongruence between the ideal self and the actual self, the greater the level of resulting distress. Personal effectiveness. It means making use of all the personal resources you have, your talents, your skills, your energy, and your time to enable you to achieve life goals. Your knowledge of yourself and how you manage yourself impacts directly on your personal effectiveness. Being self-aware, making the most of your strengths, learning new skills and techniques, and behavioral flexibility are all keys to improving your personal performance. Our personal effectiveness depends on our innate characteristics. We have our talent and we have our experience. Talents first are needed to be identified and then developed to be used in a particular subject. For example, science, literature, sports, politics, etc. And we have experience. Experience includes knowledge and skills that we acquire in the process of cognitive and practical activity. So, ano yung knowledge? Knowledge is required for setting goals, defining an action plan to achieve them, and risk assessment. And skills also determine whether real actions are performed in accordance with the plan. If the same ability is used as many times in the same situation, then it becomes a habit that runs automatically, subconsciously. Here are some skills that will greatly increase the efficiency of any person who owns them. Number one is determination. It allows you to focus only on achieving a specific goal without being distracted by less important things or spontaneous desires. It may be developed with the help of self-discipline exercise. Number two, we have self-confidence. It appears in the process of personal development as a result of getting aware of yourself, your actions, and their consequences. Self-confidence is manifested in speech, appearance, dressing, gait, and physical condition. To develop it, you need to learn yourself and your capabilities, gain positive attitude, and believe that by performing right actions and achieving right goals, you will certainly reach success. And number three, persistence. It makes you keep moving forward regardless of emerging obstacles, problems, laziness, bad emotional state, and etc. It reduces the cost of overcoming obstacles. It can also be developed with the help of self-disciplined exercise. Number four, we have managing stress. It helps combat stress that arises in daily life from the environment and other people. Stress arises from the uncertainty in an unknown situation when a lack of information creates the risk of negative consequences of your actions. It increases efficiency in the actively changing environment. Number five, we have problem-solving skills. They help cope with the problems encountered with a lack of experience. It increases efficiency by adopting new ways of achieving goals when obtaining a new experience. And we have creativity. It allows you to find extraordinary ways to carry out specific action that no one has tried to use. It can lead to a decrease or an increase of costs, but usually the speed of action is greatly increased when using creative tools. And last, number seven, generating ideas. It helps you achieve goals using new, original, unconventional ideas. Idea is a mental image of an object formed by the human mind, which can be changed before being implemented in the real world. For generating ideas, you can use a method of mental maps, which allows you to materialize, visualize, and scrutinize all your ideas, which in turn contributes to the emergence of new ideas. These are just some, but the most important personal effectiveness skills which makes the achievement of any goal easier and less costly. Build on your strengths and work on your weaknesses. Most failures emanate from weaknesses that are not recognized or probably recognized but not given appropriate attention or remedy. This could be a weakness in communication, personality, or ability. Instead of giving up or indulging in self-pity, take action. Go for speech lessons, get skills upgrading, attend personality development sessions, or whatever appropriate remedies to your perceived weakness. Instead of simply focusing on your weakness, recognize your own talents and abilities, build on them, utilize them to your greatest advantage. This is where you can build your name and your popularity. For your activity and some reminders, further explanation about this topic will be made during our online consultation. Answer the following. For your ADM Week 1, assessment questions numbers 1 to 5 only. Wala na pong ibang sasagutan. Sa ADM, kundi yung assessment part lang. For your worksheet or law week number 1, I want you to answer these activities. Activity 1, Activity 2, Activity 3, and Activity 5. No need to answer Activity 4. For your file name, please use the following ADM. For your ADM, use last name underscore ADM underscore perdev underscore week 1. For your law, use last name underscore law underscore perdev underscore week 1. For your ulat ng pagkatuto, please use last name underscore perdev underscore week number 2. And saan po ba magsasagot? You can write your answer on a piece of paper, answer only, no need to copy and answer, or pwede kayong gumamit ng PDF format ng law and ADM if you have a copy. Make sure you have the correct file name, and please submit your answers in PDF format. Please prepare for an assessment during our online consultation. Thank you for listening, and if you have any question, don't hesitate to message me or send me an email. That's it, and thank you for attending this video lesson, listening to this video lesson. Let's see each other during our online consultation. Goodbye and thank you, class.